pecan is a native nut to North America. The Indians used it for food, and why there are more pecan trees along the rivers and creeks is because the natives carried them with them for food, and when they ran out of food, well, they would plant some so they would have more food later on. So that's why the native pecan trees grow mainly along our alluvial floodplains, rivers, and creeks and streams in the area. Well, as you can see here, the winter has come. We've had a light skiff of snow, and the trees are asleep. They're storing up energy to produce a nice large crop of pecans this year. As the snow and ice melts, the trees will start breaking bud and starting their natural process of producing a large crop of pecans. Well, after we purchased our orchard or our grove, whatever you want to call it, there was a vast majority of the seedlings that were growing there, the native pecan seedlings, were graftable size. So our theory was to graft those and buy a tree transplanter, tree spade, and move those in rows where they'd be easier to take care of. Well, we had to select the variety we wanted to graft first, then we grafted, and then we transplanted into rows. And that has been the biggest improvement in our orchard, our road trees over our just Mother Nature planted trees. So it's just where when everything's in rows, it's a whole lot easier to take care of. Well, the growing of the pecan is a lifelong endeavor. It starts out by either planting a nut and letting it grow up where it'll be graftable size, which would be several different sizes for the different kind of graft that you want to put on it. The stalk of the tree is basically cut off, and then you actually it's a whittling process, and then you attach that to your stalk in several different methods. Normally all of our trees, in fact most of all of our trees, are grafted onto native seedling stock of the rootstock. To start off with in the spring, it's just basically mowing, picking up dead limbs, burning brush piles, um, things like that. It's just it's just a care situation that you get into up until the fall harvest time. Before we can start mowing, we generally have to go through a raking process that will remove the sticks from the orchard floor, and we'll rake those over to a brush pile. Now we're going to start the mowing process. Get the orchard floor mowed down where it's about 4 to 6 inches of grass. We try not to have much over 6 inches of grass. Well, of course, we mentioned the mowing process. We have to have a not necessarily yard short grass, but 6 to 8 inches is about ideal. Fairly level area underneath the trees. If we get a long, hot, dry summer, it's good for the pecan trees where you don't have any leaf disease pressure. But if it rains all summer, you think, well, we're going to have a nice big pecan crop. Then you start to have disease pressure from leaves, scab, and other insects that come in with the excess moisture. So we need a good rainy season up till about the 1st of June, and then it can be hot and dry clear to August. That will give us a good harvest in the fall. Well, the biggest problem that a pecan grower will face is predation of nuts. That goes all the way from insects to crows, squirrels, you name it. Everything likes pecan in nature. Of course, the squirrels, you can trap squirrels, you can eliminate them by other means. Same thing goes with crows. So it's like I say, it's just about everything in nature likes a good pecan. So you got to stay after them and try to save your crop. Pecan weevil is a big pest that we have to deal with. My father, Edmund Circle, invented the Circle weevil trap, which is a monitoring device which will tell the pecan grower when to spray for pecan weevil. It is widely used throughout the pecan belt, northern belt, southern belt, all over the United States to monitor that. It's just something that my dad came up with, and it's just caught on and really used widely. you'll come in there with the tractor-mounted trunk tree shaker that attaches to each trunk, and as you go from tree to tree, it vibrates the tree side to side and shakes the nuts to the ground. And then you come along with the harvester, which is offset so you don't run over the nuts. It's offset off to the side, like kind of like a hay baler. Here we have a 3-point mounted tree shaker. It's PTO operated with a large arm that clamps onto the tree. PTO starts coming on there a little bit, and then we're shaking the nuts and the leaves and the sticks out of the tree. Then we'll go to the next one. Once we get a series of trees shook, we'll hook onto the picker, and then we will start the harvesting process. There's a large drum in there with rubber fingers on it that are about 8 to 10 inches long. It works like a street sweeper. Flips the nuts up in the machine, and then we go on to the next one. We generally start out at the far edge of the tree where the nuts have fallen, and start going around and around the tree and work our way into the trunk. Well, after you harvest the pecans, then we need to bring them into our processing plant, which we'll run through a pecan cleaner. It basically is an air separation that removes the light nuts and the sticks and the trash. And then when they come out of the cleaner, they come across an inspection table where there's 2 people that sit there and inspect the nuts as they go down, pick out the bad ones that maybe didn't get blown out, or a rock that of course wouldn't get thrown out. And then they go through a sizing mechanism that sizes for 4 different sizes of pecans, and then they are, after they come out of the sizer, they drop down into a large super sack that we use for storage. Even though they're one variety, they still have different sizes of that variety, so that we try to size those out where it have a better crack. It just does a better operation that way. Now we're starting to run them through our cracker. It is a rotary air cracker. It'll crack over 300 cracks per minute. We just scoop out of our big super sacks after we clean them in and dump them into the hopper of the pecan cracker. There they'll come up a large chain which singulates the nuts, so you can only crack one at a time. Then they're dumped into a hopper of the air leg, which will remove all of that loose shell and fine dust that's there. The reason we do that is to give a value-added product when we sell our pecans. As you can see here in a minute, they'll come out just the pecans have a little bit of shell stuck on them yet, but they don't have all that fine dust and extra shell in there. The biggest contributor to our operation at this time would be my father, Edmund Circle. He was interested in grafting and grafted numerous fruit trees in his garden, along with pecan trees. And the gentleman who grafted the original part of our orchard was one of Dad's very good friends, and that's how we got interested in the pecan business and how it all started, kind of. All of my family, including my grandkids, helped out in our busy season and contributed a great deal to our success in this business. And without them, I would not be able to be sitting here and telling you how good the pecan business is. It is a lot of hard work, long hours. You need to do your homework. It's a lifetime process to grow good pecans.